assisting us throughout today's session. All right. So welcome once again, everyone, to Cool Tools in Education. I'm your facilitator, Dr. Justin Zephyrine, and this is going to be a very engaging, hands-on session. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, we're going to have some fun, and hopefully you enjoy it. It's really our hope that the tools that we look at today would be very applicable to your teaching or your course context. We hope that you will learn a lot, not just about the tools, but the ways in which we can use them, or you can use them in your teaching context. All right. I see we have quite a number of persons in this session. Let me just highlight. We have 20 persons thus far, just under 20, minus the CETL staff. We have Andre. Hi, Andre. Averell. It's been a while. All right. And a host of others. All right. I see we have Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones is one of the most recent addition to the CETL team. So welcome, Dr. Jones. We have Papaya. Nice. Karen. Nice to see you. Nice to have you with us. All right, so let's just get quick into it. And if you know me, I like to start with a little icebreaker. So I'm going to ask Mr. Garcia, you could go ahead and change the slide, or you could post the links in the chat. You're going to see two links in the chat. I want you to click on those links, and it's going to take you to a particular page. All right. And yes, it's a nice little activity to get us started. This tool we'll explore it a little bit later on in this session, but I just feel like it would be a nice demonstration on how it can be incorporated in your instruction. All right. So yes, I think the links were posted in the chat. Good. So you could go ahead, Mark, and so the first question, right, is you have incorporated some technology tools in your courses, whether it's pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, or emergency remote teaching, and even post-pandemic. All right, we're still using technology even now. Were you comfortable using those tools in your educational context? Please let us know if you can access, if it's taking you to the site. Of course, the links are in the chat, so click the link in the chat, and you should see the responses coming in. All right, and like I said, we're doing something new with this particular session. It's a sort of, I don't say a trial, but you have to start somewhere. And so what we're doing is a sort of multifaceted approach. So there may be some little glitches here and there, but bear with us. All right, so you can type in the chat if you're getting through. I'm not seeing responses yet. Was anyone able to get through to Poll Everywhere using the links in the chat? You're all quiet. Is something wrong? Okay, let's see.
When I opened it, I did not see the screen that you have here when I opened.
All right, thank you so much for that, Petra. Papaya?
Justin, so when I clicked on the link, it's not taking me to a multiple choice. It's taking me to open-ended responses.
Same thing for me. Same thing for me.
Okay, so is it taking you to this particular? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, this is it.
All right. Okay, that's okay. Well, it was two questions and two links, but that's okay. We'll go forward with it still. But thank you so much for that, Papaya. All right. Okay, so go back, right? What are some hindrances or issues you face in using the technologies in your educational context? Someone said connectivity to certain programs, but it was rectified. Okay. If you scroll down a little bit, all right, but we do have some issues. So connectivity is actually a big issue across the campus or university. So and it's not anything that is Petra. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. But yes, we still move on. So student buy-in. Oh, I'd like to hear you elaborate on that. I'm not sure who typed that, but what do you mean by student buy-in? I'd like to know more. You could use your mic and
So that was me, Justin. This is Bipaya. I mean, I think some students, they're just in the classroom to get information and move on, essentially, and they're not particularly attuned to the fact that, you know, it's more than just gathering information. It's literally like actively participating in the classroom to enhance their learning. So that's what I meant by that. And so even though you're using the tools in the classroom, they're not necessarily participating. This is like, okay, no, I'm just here to get information to move on.
Yeah. Do you think, or anybody for that matter, what do you think are some reasons for that phenomenon, where students just want the information that they need to pass the course, or they want to be spoon-fed? Where do you think that may have, or what may have led to such a situation? Do you think, for example, it might be their prior learning experiences? I'm just asking. Do you think it was maybe it's an expectation they have? Yvonne says, initially skills in using a variety of web-based tools to facilitate student interaction. Okay. Prior learning experience, yes. That plays a big part in it. Getting their buy-in, because, you know, they're used to, you know, learning in a particular way of being spoon-fed or just given the information directly. And now you're asking them to do more than what they think should be required of them. And that's perfectly normal. I wouldn't say it's right, but it's perfectly normal. Someone said a lack of subtle nonverbal feedback that is lost during using online. Okay, so what you're trying to say is that social interaction or those social cues or behaviorism that would tell a lot. You can't read behaviors as easily in the online environment, correct? I believe that's what you're saying. That person who just placed that post.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely, and that's very true. That's very true, and that's why, you know, it's so important to kind of have an idea of how to engage students in the online environment. And part of that engagement is really getting them to participate, to become actively involved in the process, to respond to things. Yeah. So that's that. All right. Well, let's. Oh, I see we have some posts in the chat. Yes. Petra says, yes, they just want you to give information and regurgitate and get a grade. And we know that's low-level learning, low-level. I don't even want to say that might be learning because retention is not really high in those contexts, in that context. But that's definitely a phenomenon that tends to happen. And again, it might be linked to their prior learning experiences and that sort of thing. One way that you can mitigate against that, maybe in your course outline or at the very beginning of your course, sort of like an orientation, what you expect of them or what you require of them and what they can expect of you. So you kind of manage expectations for the course. One of those expectations might be that you require them to become actively involved in the course or in the class sessions or in the activities. You want them to participate. Another thing, of course, is to have a small percentage or weighting of the course assessment for participation. Sometimes that might range from 5 to 10%, sometimes 15%, depending on what requirements you have that would count as participation. So there are different ways that we can mitigate that. Tracy, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Oh, I'm well, thanks. Thank you.
Very good.
So some of the hindrances I have is what you experience with your icebreaker. It takes a lot of time to prepare the items for these activities. It takes sometimes it takes time more than the content you are comfortable delivering. So for example, you use this one, I'm not too familiar with it, this poolev.com. So what was supposed to happen was we were supposed to be discussing it against the screen on the left here with scrolling up and discussing the responses. But what you are actually doing is doing what we are comfortable with, typing in the chat. Right? So because there are some responses here, I'm not seeing mine yet, where I was looking to see how you were using the tool. But so the two things are time and not being, as a lecturer, not being comfortable yet or competent yet with the tool. So you're afraid to use it, for want of a better term, so that because you don't want it to flop. You're comfortable with the PowerPoint because the PowerPoint might not flop. Yes.
Yeah, and that's perfectly normal. Now, in this instance, let me try to respond to that a bit. So in this instance, we normally use this tool all the time. I think what we're doing now, the infrastructure is a little different. So I'm on one machine here, as you see me standing here, and I have my colleague controlling the PowerPoint and that sort of thing. So we're trying a new thing for this particular session. But ideally, of course, navigation in that regard is a little different. So, but to even more directly answer or address the anomaly, let's call it that for now, I think would be to try it bit by bit. You don't have to do everything all at once. You may, for example, just try, if you're going to incorporate, let's say, a tool like this, you might want to get someone to come along with you. So at least you get comfortable until you get comfortable with it or using it. All right. We use this tool pretty often. Well, people like Papaya and Petra and so on, we know. And but the only difference in this time around is that we're trying to make it more of an instructional video type of recording as well. So there's a little bit of a production. I wish Mr. Duku were here to take a picture of what's going on behind the scenes. But so yeah, so that's to explain that. But in terms of using or integrating technology into your instructional context and getting that comfortable, ensuring that you're comfortable with it, I would recommend doing it bit by bit, not all in one sort of, and if you're doing it, get the assistance of someone, a colleague or a friend to help you as well. So someone could post a link in the chat, someone can, while you kind of focus on the PowerPoint. And then next time around, you might want to post a link in the chat yourself, right? After you've created the activity and so on. And bit by bit, you kind of move closer to doing it on your own, all right? And that's perfectly normal. So the first time around, apprehension will happen, will come. Anomalies such as glitches and so on, that will come as well. That's perfectly normal, but at least you have the support to navigate through, right? So like I mentioned at the beginning of this session, I have Mr. Duku and I have Mr. Garcia, who are also providing some additional support behind the scenes, all right? So so that's really to explain that, but definitely we have that issue. With regard to that question, well, I guess most of you only saw one link, so we will move on with that. But really, I think the second person gave some details. But don't worry, Tracy and everyone, we have you covered, right? When we explore this tool even more, I think you will become a lot more comfortable with it, and I think you might be, I don't want to say wow, because sometimes it might be easy to get wowed with the technology, and then when you try to use it, it's all kind of funny. So, but definitely you're gonna leave this session learning or more equipped to integrate cool tools in your particular course. So by the end of this session, what are we here to do? By the end of the session, you're going to look at cool tools. So we're going to define the whole concept of cool tools. It's very simple, I promise you. All right. We're going to look at poll everywhere. That's a tool we were just using for that icebreaker. And we will explore it in just a bit. We're going to look at a tool called Heyzine. I'm very excited about that. Well, it's a similar tool to Flipsnack. Flipsnack is and Heyzine, same thing, more or less, almost. But they allow you to create electronic flipbooks In the case of Heyzine, you could create magazines, ebooks, and that sort of thing, and really customize it in a way that is secure, in a way that is much more attractive and appealing to your students. And when I say secure, it mitigates against the tendency, let's say, for students to download. You could control that, first of all, to download and send your information elsewhere. You know, it's a lot more secure. So I'm happy that Petra and even Bapaya and the others are here as well from CETL or from other training sessions, because I think they may have been exposed to Flipsnack, but not Heyzine. So we'd slip that in there to keep it fresh. And then we're going to look at Bubblus. That's another. And it's a mind mapping tool that allows for, it's not just for mind mapping. That's one of the main avenues it can be used, but it can also be used for creating basic graphics and processes and that sort of thing. And then we're going to look at the most appropriate tools for course delivery or for teaching, the purposes of teaching and learning. All right. So let's get straight into it. Yeah. So when we think of cool tools in education, cool tools in education, first of all, must be fresh. Anybody could tell me what I mean by fresh? What do I mean by fresh? When you say cool tools, they must be fresh. Meaning, all right, so we have hot off the press. I like that, Petra. Hot off the press. Okay, anybody else? So they must be hot off the press. All right, I like that way of saying it, that Petra. And I could see you saying that, Petra. I like that. So it must be fresh and or hot off the press, or otherwise known as contemporary or modern. So for example, you may use a particular tool that is at least current. And when I say current, a particular tool that, let's say within the past 5 years has emerged or has been updated. So for example, you're probably not going to use, anybody remembers Messenger, MSN Messenger, I think back in the day. And it used to make that sound when you get a message, boogudunk, 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 boogudunk. No? So, so anybody remembers that? No? I'm looking at the chat. Yes, Paula, yes, yes. And yes, feel free to use your mics as well. Petra, yes, you remember that. So you're probably not going to use a tool like that, or High Five is another one for those of you who might be aware of that. High Five and ICQ. There's another tool for those of you in engineering, computer engineering and computer science, sorry. I think it's Dreamweaver and that sort of thing. I've heard of that. All right, okay. But still, sorry, I'm laughing at that one. But yes, no, so we have tools technologies that have been existing for quite some time, but you want your technology tool or your cool tool to be fresh or contemporary, all right? And it's something that your students will be able to identify with. The second thing is that it must be easy to use. Easy to use, meaning that it must be, it can't be too pedantic or too complicated. Remember, the technology is just a tool to assist the teaching and learning. So if you're focused on trying to make this tool functional in your context, then something is wrong. Because then it becomes more of a distraction than an aid or a tool to help you accomplish the learning outcomes that you need to accomplish. We have TTT in our TTT post. For you, those of you who may not know, TTT is Tuesday Teaching Tips. And many of you may have gotten it by now in your staff email. And this is one of the things that we looked at. I think this week's TTT post was something along the lines of 5 considerations for technology selection for teaching and learning, or something of that sort. And out of the 5, we had ease of use was one of them. All right, accessibility was another. So these are 5 factors that you want to consider. So at least it helps you in sifting through, because there are a lot of technologies out there that might seem very applicable to your teaching context, but it's very important that you sift them and filter them so that you know exactly what is the best use, what is the most appropriate one, or fit for purpose. Yeah, and that's what we're looking for. So ease of use is, or it must be easy to use, meaning that the learning curve is not very steep. So it's very intuitive. Navigation, it doesn't give trouble. No one likes trouble or drama. Yeah. And so the next factor, of course, it must enhance the teaching and learning process. In other words, it must help you accomplish your learning outcomes, or it must align with your learning outcomes, or it must facilitate the particular learning activity that you have designed. All right. So any questions on that so far? So it must be fresh, it must be easy to use, and it must enhance the teaching and learning process. All right, so those are cool tools in education. They must be fresh, meaning they must be contemporary. They must be easy to use. So navigation is easy, the layout, it must be very intuitive. The learning curve is not very steep or challenging to use. And of course, it must enhance the teaching and learning process, meaning that it must align with the learning outcomes, the instructional activity, and that sort of thing. All right. Now, why use cool tools in education? Why? You've been, as Tracy said, you've been teaching for quite some time. You're accustomed to PowerPoint presentation. Tracy, we didn't create this slide for you, I just saying, but it just happened, to be relevant in that regard. So you're comfortable doing what you've been doing. Why are we suggesting to you to use cool tools in education? All right. Why? And there are several reasons for that. Well, one, we have what we call the continuum of online learning. And this is the direction that the university is heading. And generally, the direction that education in 21st century is heading. On the left side of this particular continuum, now the different versions of this continuum. And I know before we had a conversation about this. So anyway, so we have the web supported. The web supported means that, okay, you use the online environment for registration, all right? And after that, you don't really use, there's no sort of high-end technology integration in your particular course or class, all right? So to make it relevant to you, persons might register for your course using banners. So they go online and they register for your course, and that's it. You may not use My Learning to engage them in the online environment. On the right side, the other extreme, we have web delivered, otherwise known as 100% online. All right. In this case, the registration is online, the teaching is online, whether it's via Zoom or a particular LMS, learning management system. Everything is online, as we see there, 100% online course delivery. And you don't really have any sort of face-to-face contact or sessions. All right. But then, so we have the two extremes, face-to-face, 100% face-to-face, and 100% online. But then somewhere in the middle, we have a sort of hybrid or sort of mix of the two. And that mix of the two is what we call blended, a blended approach. Now, blended is a very wide umbrella that encompasses different approaches, whether it's flipped, whether it's high flex, et cetera, which is another discussion altogether. But we have web enhanced, just to make it very general and easy for you to understand. We have web enhanced and web enabled, but they're both kind of similar. All right. One, for example, it's web enhanced. You have technology enhanced instruction, for example, or you have some sort of activities that may be asynchronous. So it may not be the actual live teaching, but you might just put a little discussion for them to participate in. Or you have web enabled, where you mark assignments and you provide feedback and that sort of thing. Yeah. So you have face-to-face, online, and blended. Blended is that kind of, and this is really Caribbean, I guess, is a sort of doublerization or aesthetics or mix of both face-to-face and online modes of delivery. All right. So that is the modes of delivery right there. And we do have a video on our YouTube channel that elaborates on the modes of delivery. that you might probably want to check out. It's also in our TTT post that came out earlier today. The rule of thumb is that, remember I said that technology is just a tool. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I thought I saw a message there that looked a little suspicious, so I just had to verify. All right, so remember I said that technology is just a tool. All right, you never want to put technology ahead of pedagogy. Pedagogy is like teaching practice and the tenets of good teaching and learning. All right, so you always want to remember that the technology is just a tool. Think of it like this. If you want to go to Piarco International Airport, what would be the best tool or the best avenue or the best way to get there? Would it be, for example, through using a bicycle or a motorbike or a boat, a ship, what else? A car or a vehicle of some sort, or a plane, right? Based on your current location, it might vary. Sometimes you might use, I don't think you might use a motorcycle, but you might use, depending on whatever your locations, you might use your feet or you might use a car, all right? But you get the gist of it, right? Yes, saying, okay, good, nice. So that's how we use, when we see technology is just a tool that helps you accomplish what you need to accomplish, AKA the learning outcomes. Now, technology integration, before we get into the tools, very quickly, technology integration is all about, the best way to do it is really what we call a systematic approach. And that means that you consider different pillars or tenets or principles that would inform the way you integrate your technology in your class. So for example, what are the curriculum goals? What are you going to teach? What's the topic? What's the content, right, that you're trying to get across? Bapaya said earlier that it's all about some students, they just want the information, right? What is it that you're going to teach? The next thing is the pedagogical approach. How are you going to teach it? So it's about what and then about how. How are you going to teach it? Then, of course, you consider the technology skills. What are students coming with? So, for example, if it's something that is very pedantic or meticulous or complicated, you're probably not going to give that to your students if you know that they are not there yet. Of course, if it's in the computer sciences and that sort of thing, you may want to try it because that's part of what they need to know. But you're not gonna make a steep learning curve for your students because again, the technology is just a tool. All right. And of course, based on that and among other factors, as I mentioned, you will use that to find the right technology to facilitate the learning activity. Again, fit for purpose, right? What tools will help you achieve your learning outcomes. All right. General things that you also want to consider, and these are instructional design principles. The learner profile. What kinds of learners do you have? Are they mature students? Are they students who just came out of school and may not know otherwise, or may not know, maybe accustomed to a certain way of learning, as Bapaya mentioned? Yeah. So, for example, Malaika, how would you describe your learners? Or Michelle? How would you describe your learners? You could use your mic if you'd like. You don't have to type it. All right. Young, vibrant, energetic, according to Malaika.
This is Michelle.
Michelle.
I generally have like people who are working. So sometimes they, you try to get them engaged and everybody is tired, everybody is, so you have to keep prodding at them all the time.
Right. One way to hopefully mitigate against that or to help alleviate that to some extent would be to get them to move. If it's, now, first of all, let me ask, do you try to engage them online or face-to-face?
No, well, this is online.
This is online, good.
Yeah, so I would start, so like if I'm meeting them for the first time, we do the icebreaker. And as you had said initially, you know, you indicate to them what is expected. And I always say, you know, active participation is encouraged. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work.
And that is true. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. And, you know, as part of your reflective practice, you want to see why certain things worked and why certain things didn't work. All right. And you actually have Mr. Garcia in the background here, who's you know, one of the gurus on reflective practice. And so he could tell you all about that as well. And you could even send him an email and he or have a consultation with him, and he will definitely be happy to help you with that. But you know, in a case like that, what I have found in my practice is that you always want to switch it up a bit. So you make it a little less predictable for them. And I think also helping, instead of making individual activities, bringing that collaboration. Because when I am tired, or let's say if I'm in a group, when one person is tired, the others could kind of pitch in and we all kind of glean from each other, and we all kind of pick up that vibe or that energy and to really make things happen. Another thing that works for me is making it of a pleasantly competitive kind of thing. A game-based learning approach is very good in that regard. So if you create an online game such as Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you put them in teams or whatnot, and you know, just the idea of competing for a prize, you wouldn't believe, whether it's younger, like young students or even children, and it goes all the way up to, you know, more mature students. But a game-based approach always helps to perk up that mood. One of the things that it does is from a brain-based side of things, is that it produces a chemical in your brain, or a hormone called serotonin. And serotonin helps to put you in a good mood for learning. So there are different ways serotonin could be produced by certain foods as well. So if you have a banana before, that helps. And yeah, so there are different ways you can engage students like that. So definitely try a game-based learning approach. We do have a workshop. We did a workshop on that, I think just a couple months ago. We'll do it again, where we can expose you to some of these tools that would help you in incorporating a game-based learning approach in your course or your classes. All right. So thank you so much for that. Let me just check the chat. No problem at all, Michelle. And yes, please don't be shy. Don't be shy. We want to learn from each other. So yes, part of an instructional design approach is considering your learner profile, the kinds of students you have, the age, you know, if you have more males and females or vice versa, the context. The context will incorporate or encompass the physical classroom if you have that. So if you're in a blended context, what does the physical space look like? What resources do you have at your fingertips? Do you have internet? Do you have a projector? Do you have, if it's online, do you have, do your students have mobile devices if they need to? Also the time of your class, like Michelle, I'm assuming yours is at the end of the day, correct? After your students have.
Of course.
Right. So
and then I used to have the luck of having it on an Ash Wednesday. Even better.
Definitely, right? So, you know, there are pros and cons with both. Sometimes if you have it very early in the morning, I remember as a student that the struggle was real. Sometimes because, you know, you stay up late at night to study and then you have to come to class early in the morning. And sometimes if you're working, you know, and then you come to class in the afternoon, in the evening. And, you know, but always like a game-based learning approach, Michelle, would definitely suit you. All right. And of course, activities and assessments. Again, activities, a game-based activity is very good in your context, Michelle. And I'm sure many others could identify with that. So Chickering and Gamson put forward a couple principles that would guide us in this regard. So you want to make sure you have that interaction, allow for collaborative activities. So a lot of these tools that we have here today would help in that regard, depending on how you use them. Don't just use them to disseminate information. It is our hope that you use them to, in fact, let students use them to submit assignments and that sort of thing. So you take that sort of reverse approach where it becomes more hands-on and participatory on their end. All right. And of course, cater to different learning styles. There are different theories that inform all of these things. One of them, of course, is constructivism. Another one might be connectivism, which is, while constructivism focuses on interaction and that sort of thing, so engagement through social interaction. Connectivism is another theory that is tailored to like what otherwise known as digital age learning. All right, so when you want to incorporate social media and other technologies and so on, that helps create an ecosystem, let's call it that for now, of learners and technology and that sort of thing. That definitely helps. All right, and so these are some of the tenets of constructivism. Again, it makes learning more of a social, collaborative, interactive process or experience, and connectivism builds on this and sort of more intensely, let's call it that for now, incorporate technology in this mix. All right, so we're going to go into our first tool. All right, and remember I told you this is the first time we're doing this workshop like this webinar like this. So this webinar is a bit of new things. So it's a new way we're delivering or recording or managing this particular session. So I'm going to go to do a demonstration of Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is the software we use at the beginning, and it really allows for your students to engage in, it's almost like it's a poll. But one of the good things with Poll Everywhere is that it integrates very nicely with your PowerPoint. That's one. So what you saw in the beginning, we synced it with the PowerPoint platform on the desktop. All right, so that's another thing we'll show you. It's just a link, takes you to a page, you click download, and that's literally it. You give permission, and that's it. But we'll get into that in just a bit. But anyway, so students can access your poll, whether it's through a laptop, a phone, a tablet, their desktop, or what have you, and it displays the results or the responses in real time. All right. Remember back in the day, you might need clickers to do that. I didn't really get to use clickers that much, but I know back then I think it was probably phasing out a little bit. So you don't have to spend equipment on getting clickers and that sort of thing. All right. So that's that part there. So the benefits of Poll Everywhere is, you don't have to have any hardware, special hardware. You don't have to spend a lot of money. It's free actually, so you don't have to spend any money. It can be synced with your PowerPoint, and it increases engagement and retention. So I'm going to go straight into Poll Everywhere, and just give me 1 minute, and we will navigate that platform. All right. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Christy?
Yes.
Good afternoon. A quick question. Can a QR code be created for this? You said that the students could access the link, etc. But I'm just asking if a QR code could be also generated for the link.
Good question. Good question. I haven't tested the QR code feature, but you can definitely use. I find it very easy to use the link, and then you just click on the link and it takes them to a particular page. Now, I'll share my screen and you'll see exactly what I mean in this regard. All right. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. So I'm just closing off some stuff and then I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly what Poll Everywhere is like. So what I need you to do is go to polleverywhere.com. I'm going to copy the link and paste it in the chat. And you're going to go to Poll Everywhere. You can copy and paste it into your Google Chrome, preferably. And it's going to take you to a page that looks something like this. Yeah, let me know if you get that, please.
Yep.
Okay, so what I need you to do is insert your email address in the username. So you're going to insert your username using your email address. It can be your personal email address. It doesn't have to be the UE email address, anything that is comfortable for you and something that you will remember. And then now what you're going to do now, make sure in your case, I probably forgot to mention, I'm sorry. You probably want to, when you get to this particular page, you want to click login. Now the link I gave you took you to the login page, but what you can do is just click Poll Everywhere on the left side here, because you have to create an account first. So click Poll Everywhere and you're going to go to sign up. All right, sign up. That's all right, Shoba. Go to Poll Everywhere on the left side and click on sign up. And it's going to prompt you to, first of all, identify yourself. You could just dismiss this. And you could say, I'm a participant. All right, that's one. Or you could say, I'm a presenter. In this case, you're going to click, I'm a presenter. So when you click presenter, it's going to take you to a page where you can insert your name, as well as your email address and password. So I'm going to give you just a minute or so to get through that part. And you could just put a thumbs up in the chat when you've completed that particular part. All right. All right, good. So Michelle's right thumbs up. Petra, yes, I know you have an account already. So you do actually, because you did Cuttle and you did I think you did this workshop before. So this should be a refresher for you. So once you insert your name, your first name, your last name, and email address and password, and you have familiarized, you have an idea of the terms of use, then you click, you scroll down and you click sign up, and it will open up for you. All right, in some cases, you may have to go to your email address to verify the account. All right, in my case, I already have an account, so I can just go to login and insert my email address. All right, and my password. And it will take me in to the dashboard, basically. All right, so let me know if you've gotten to the right. Andre is good. Michelle is good. Anybody else? Yes, Petra, definitely. So that's why I'm happy you are here, because Petra, you would help me in explaining some of these tools. All right, if you don't mind. Shoba, you got through, nice. And Shoba, it's nice to see you here as well. Yvonne, you're good. Prima, you're good. Anybody else? Anyone encountered any trouble? So we're good. Okay. All right, and of course, feel free to use your microphone or raise your hand or anything like that if you're encountering any kind of difficulties. All right, we're definitely happy to help. Mr. Garcia and Mr. Duku will also provide some assistance.
Andrew Sinclair here. One question. I sign up and then it says get started, but if I try to click there, nothing happens. What was the next step?
All right, so you signed up and did you log in?
Right, so where the login is when that sign up page comes up. So they have the 6 boxes I showed you what you need to do. Is it that?
All right, so once you let me make sure I understand exactly where you're at. So let me log out and you click sign in or sign in.
Yeah.
So you're on this page, correct?
I did all that already. I accepted.
And you click I'm not a robot?
Yes, all of that. So it
Right,
takes me up.
Okay, so you're in there.
So okay, so what came up for me was a screen which we had like for you to get started with stuff.
Oh,
so I wasn't seeing this poll everywhere and this thing on top there at all.
Right. So you're seeing this page here with get started in green.
Yeah, can I get started and I click on that, but nothing happens there.
Right. Are you seeing at the top of that page, the top right side, sign up or login at the top right side?
All right, let me flip over there. So what I see right now, I have poll everywhere on your left hand side, click it. And because I have poll everywhere on your left hand side, and then select the kind of work you want to do. All right, that is the screen I'm seeing. So I suppose I have to click on poll everywhere again.
Okay, so you're not seeing sign up or login on the right side. You're not seeing that.
No, that's blank.
Sorry, Justin, I think he's saying the same screen that I saw because it didn't take me to this screen where you are. We got like a blue screen saying which kind of teacher you are, like which level, if you are higher education or if you are corporate.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I did is that I clicked back on poll everywhere and then it took me back to the page that Justin is showing right now.
All right, I see that now. So you click on that and then you're seeing home and log out on the right hand side and power and hybrid work and inclusive.
Right. So you're in already. So don't log out. Let me just log back in.
Okay.
You're actually right where I need you to be. So I'm just gonna log back in. And sorry. Right. So your page might look a little different than mine, but are you seeing a button with activity somewhere here? Once you log in, you should see a page called Home at the top left side.
Yeah.
Right, good. So you're seeing that. Good. So you're in.
Yes, Home at top right. Yes, correct.
Right. And you would see next on the left side of that, you're going to see like a dark ribbon or strip that goes all the way down. It's a horizontal, a vertical strip. All right. You're going to see that there. All right. Are you seeing that?
No. So let me read out what I see, right? So that top screen, that top ribbon is the extreme left is Pool Everywhere, solutions, pricing, apps, resources, contact sales. Then you have the and of course, hello, and of course right now. Yes. Yeah. All right, that's
so you're seeing Home and are you seeing activity with a little plus sign?
Yeah, that's give me a second. That's taking a word call here. Okay, so you can go ahead. So that's
I think your mic is on it. So
yeah, yeah.
Right, let me mute. Okay, I think he's muted. Okay, good. So everyone, you're just gonna click this plus, this activity sign logo here, this button, sorry. You click on the activity and you notice there's a plus next to it. The plus means that you're gonna add an activity. All right, so you click plus. All right. And that will take you to a page that looks something, you can ask me later. Right? It will take you to a page that looks something like this, where you have different types of questions, all right? And possible options. What you're gonna, but let's do a quick multiple choice for now. And what you're gonna do is type question, which is otherwise known as a STEM. So you type the question, did you have lunch this afternoon? So you type the question, and then you go ahead and type the options. If you need to add an option, you simply click the add an option button at the bottom of the question you're typing. All right. So you have that, and then you click create. All right. You click create. Now, you might want to review so is everyone on a page like that? Once you've created your poll, you see it just like this. So Michelle or Trisha, I think it was, you think it took a lot of time, but this is you see how quickly we created that. We literally just typed in the question and the responses, and that's it. So good, Yvonne, you're good. Everyone, you have a question that you created, yeah? Or you're on a page like this with your question?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So what we want to do now is kind of see or verify the means through which persons can respond. And I think this would speak to a question we had earlier with the QR code and that sort of thing. Now, generally, persons will be able to respond using this, but I tend not to lean on that. I'm just saying, what I try to do is go onto the dashboard, but you definitely want to just check and verify here that everything is the way it should be. So for example, if you want persons to respond only once, if you want persons to have a pseudonym, if you want persons to change their responses, yeah, that sort of thing. All right. And once you've done that, you want to click activate. All right. Activate just means that it's going to be, you could use it to take responses. Now, there's another feature that was recently or more recently added to this particular platform called share. You would see share right up here. You click on that little button or the drop down arrow, and you click copy response link. So click on copy response link. And the embed, I'm just explaining to you, the embed script is really just if you want to embed it into, let's say, your My Learning course site, so persons can select it from there. But you wouldn't really need to do that in this case because that could be done asynchronously. You probably want to use this more in a synchronous environment or context. So copy response link. And what I need you to do now is to paste it in the chat. So you paste it in the chat. I'm pasting mine. Right. And if you go to nice, Shoba, you did yours. Petra, you did yours. Salim, how are you? Salim, you did yours. Paula, you did yours. Very nice. And so I see, look at what we have here. Persons have said, yes. Did you have lunch this afternoon? Everyone said yes, that's fine. It's a real-time response. Gina, you did yours, right? So I'm going to click on some of them and feel free to click on the others and give a response so we can all see what that response looks like. So if I were to look at Gina's, let me just minimize this so I can see, right? And I click on hers and I can easily right? So introduce myself. So let's say I want to call myself Jay-Z for now, or I could skip it if I wanted to. And this one, did you have lunch today? Well, it depends on what was lunch. Eh? Okay, so let's say it did not finish. And you should see that response coming in live. All right. Tracy, if I copy yours, and I'll do it on the same page. So I can skip this. What is the best polling software? Poll everywhere, Zoom poll, free polling. Poll everywhere. And as you said that, Tracy, let me compare it to, you should see the response on your side. As you said that, this tool is much easier than using Zoom polls. With Zoom polls, you have to create your polls well in advance of, and then try to integrate it into the actual Zoom session. It's not difficult, but I mean, with this one, you could have everything on your PowerPoint. And I'll show you where to go to get to sync it to your PowerPoint. Kirsten, let me copy one more and see what Kirsten's was like. Also with this one, you can use different types of questions. All right, so if I skip this, Kirsten, did you have lunch? Right, so once I responded, you would see the responses there. All right, and look what we have here, everyone, look. So some people said yes, 60%. Then you had 20% said no. And then 20% said, I don't know. All right, so let's go back and create another activity. Now, you can, okay, good. Gina said very cool. Yes, I know, right? But cool tools, Gina, cool tools. All right. So if you go back to activities, that's at the top left side.
Just an excuse.
Yes, go ahead.
So I am trying to go to the page where you are seeing the responses. Now I saw 100%, but I'm not. I don't know how to get to the page where you have the sharing and so on the right hand side.
Okay, so let me go back a bit. So you're on this page, a page like this, correct?
Okay, I'm on a page, yes, but you see that visual setting, share and deactivate present, that I'm not there.
Oh, you're not seeing that? Okay. Are you seeing activities on the left side?
Yes, I am. Okay, okay, I got it.
So click on activities.
I'm at it, thanks, yeah.
Nice. And you would see the poll that you just, can you download it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you so much for
I'm seeing 100%. The wrong answer.
The wrong answer. All right, and I'll show you that. So stick a pin in that, right, Malika? So, so this is the right now. You could see how many questions you could create using poll everywhere. Now, I created multiple. Sorry, someone is. All right, so we have multiple. You could create numerous questions, as you see. I have all here. Did you have lunch this afternoon? So this is what I just created. All right. Now,
Justin.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I think Christy had a hand up. And I have a question as well.
Christy, go right ahead.
Oh, yes. So sorry, I did not get anywhere apart from when I created the questions and I wasn't seeing those that share button. All I'm seeing right now is activate and present. Is it because I didn't click presenter initially when I was signing in? That's why I'm not seeing the share visual settings there.
It is possible. Did you click presenter or did you click?
No, I did not. I went in the other way, the first way that you said.
Okay, all right. Well, here's what you can easily, let's see if we could tweak that for you. Once you go to your profile.
Right.
You should be able to change that a bit. Let's see, password, account information. There should be a place where you can change that information, activity settings. So this is the activity that you want, but you want to make sure you are
the presenter. Right.
I'm looking for it. I know it's somewhere here. All right. But
I have the same issue, Justin, but I signed up as a presenter.
You signed up as a presenter as well?
Yeah, but I have the same issue as Christy. I'm not seeing the share option.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it if you're a presenter. But let me I could probably look at it right after the session. So yeah, and
okay, no problem.
Definitely. But it's in your profile where you can go and change the settings.
I'll keep checking as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I just have to remember exactly where it is to change it, but it's in your profile. So once you located your profile, let me just check the settings here. Account owner. There you go. So you could change. You should be able to change it from here. So I went to this last gear button at the bottom here, and this is just some stats here. Manage presenters, owner, etc. So you can invite people. Well, you're seeing it on your screen, right? And you should be able to change your role here. All right. Activities, results. I don't want that. But I know it's here. All right. I would definitely locate it for you, but I know it's somewhere in here. All right. Okay. So, I see we have. Oh, Christy, that's your same thing. Let me check the chat. Firma, good. Yes. I think, Malika, yes, you can download the statistics. So let me just show you, or you could do it along with me. If I go back to my dashboard of all the activities, so the home page, and you go to activities, and you saw in my settings there how many responses I've acquired over the period that I've been on this platform. So in a case like this, you can literally download it into a CSV file, all right, a comma separated file. You just go on your dashboard with all these wherever you created your activity, and click. You can click see responses. All right. It will take you to that, and In some cases, you should be able to download it like here. All right, so you could take a screenshot, yes, but you can also download it as a CSV file, as I mentioned. So does that answer your question? No? Yeah? Okay, great. So let's go back very quickly to create different types of questions because I want to show you how to do so. And of course, Christy, remind me, please, close to the end of this session, we'll definitely look into that. All right. So let's click on activity again. So you're going to your home page and you click plus activity or add an activity. So you're doing it again. And this time, let's create an open-ended question. Now you can also do competitions. You can do word clouds. Let's do a word cloud for now. All right. So if I ask, how do you feel? Or what do you feel? So let's say, what do you feel or what are you feeling? I click create. And again, share, same thing as before. And I paste it in the chat or wherever you want to paste it. All right. And if you click on it, you can send some responses and I'll show you exactly how it looks or what it looks like in the responses. So Christy, and I think it was Salim who also had that issue. Go ahead and create your polls, just as we're doing here. And at the end, we'll just change the settings of your account to presenter. All right. So look, we have some responses coming in. Some persons are saying hungry. I guess that person said no to the previous question about lunch. Someone said exciting, amazing. Someone is feeling sleepy. I hope it's not because of this session. Someone said blessed. And now what you would find is that words might be placed in a larger font size when multiple persons have stated it. So if a lot of persons stated hungry, hungry is going to be the biggest. Someone said empowered. Very good. Very good. Salim, I'm just going to check yours while persons are responding to this other one. What caused you to feel how you're feeling this time? Let's say hunger for now. Petrol, copy yours. Hopefully happy. All right. And I'm sure you guys are seeing the responses in real time. All right. Now, how would you use a tool like this? You tell me. Formative assessment. Good, Andre, good. You can use it as a formative kind of assessment, even a pre-assessment, a diagnostic sort of assessment. And even though we're saying assessment, it doesn't mean that you're using it for grading purposes, but it's sort of an informal assessment. Yeah, meaning that it's not weighted or it's not ready for grades unless you're counting participation, but it's a good way. Oh, I'll show you in just a bit, Shobha. It's a good way to engage your students and sometimes find out exactly how they feel about a particular thing or what they know, even prior to a topic or even after a topic. For those of you who have been in CETL, you know that I use things like this to either start a class or to end a class or to recap. All right, because there's also a competition feature in this that you can use to engage your students. Right, so Petra said pre-assessment, yes. And you see it's still changing, it's still being tweaked as we go along. Now you could clear responses as I could clear here, or you could tweak it to suit. All right. And you can also, of course, present it in the instructions and then show the responses. Now you would normally see somewhere, I think at the bottom, the number of responses. So in other words, I have 9 responses here for this particular word cloud. All right. And if I go to, let me just scroll down. Let me just refresh my page a bit. So if I scroll down, and what are you feeling? I could simply go to edit. I think someone asked about editing. So once I go to my dashboard or homepage, I could edit it from here. All right. So all you do is click on this vertical ellipsis, so to speak, and you can edit your question. Petra, no, I have 40. Well, I guess there would be a limit, but it's a very flexible limit. I have 54 questions, including multiple competitions. So for example, I have the CETL championships, as you see here. All right. So yeah, you have, for those of you in CETL, that is coming up. So yes, so you have quite a bit of, and of course I have 45 responses in the competitions and that sort of thing. You can also use this for open-ended questions. So do you remember the responses that we saw in the icebreaker? That's an example of that. Any other questions? Yes, it is anonymous. It is anonymous. So let's say while you type your questions, or you could use your mic, I'm just going to give you the link to sync it to your, sorry, the link to download to and put it on your, to sync it with your PowerPoint. So I'm just going to post the link. All you have to do is click on download for Windows and then run it or open it in your downloads folder. So I'm pasting the link for you. Yes, Andre, it's all free. All the tools that we look at today are free. Yes, Paula. Yes, you can choose if you want to put your real name or if you want to use a pseudonym or if you want to skip it altogether to remain anonymous, like 100% anonymous. All right. Any other questions on that?
Good afternoon. Yes, Justin, one question. If we want to download the file, what's the next step?
So once you download for Windows,
yeah,
you go to your downloads file,
right,
and then you should see Pool Everywhere inside there. You just click on it, open it, and it will start. It'll show you the instructions on the screen to install and so on. You just have to give administrative privileges to complete the process.
Okay, thanks.
All right, but it's literally about 2 clicks to from start to finish to get that on your device. All right. Any other questions on Poll Everywhere? What are your thoughts on this particular tool? Do you think it's worthwhile? It's how would you use this in your particular class?
I think that what I like most about it is that you can create it while you are on the call. As you mentioned before, that's the thing with the using the Zoom polls is that you have to prepare them in advance, but sometimes things come to your mind and you decide you want to do it as a poll. It's more difficult with Zoom, so I like this. And I also like the different options, you know, because with other apps, I assume you use one program only for polls and another one for multiple choice and so, like open questions and so on. But this one gives you all the options right there. Like, for example, the challenge. Like we would normally do it with probably Kahoot. So that way you will have to use another program just for that activity, you know?
Right, exactly.
That's what I like about this.
Nice. Thank you so much for that, Paula. Definitely appreciate it. And of course, I think everyone has gleaned from that in terms of how you can, the benefits of it, first of all, as you mentioned, and even how it can be integrated in your class. Petra is saying to generate instant feedback and integrate in PowerPoint. Yeah, it's very easy to integrate into PowerPoint and easy to manipulate in different types of activities. I think someone mentioned earlier, and yes, Andrew, it's easy to use. See, look, you guys are getting it. Easy to use and it's fresh because it's aesthetically appealing. And then, of course, you have the championship, which is that game-based approach. I wish we had time to do that game-based approach using Poll Everywhere. But for those of you who know, I think Petra might remember, Shoba might remember, Papaya might remember, and that sort of thing. Andrea, good question. How would I compare it to the Socrative using that tool and the free tool? I prefer this. I prefer this all the way for the many features that even Paula mentioned, the integration into your PowerPoint. So you don't have to go into a separate, you don't have to go to the web-based platform, Poll Everywhere directly to use it. You can embed it into your PowerPoint. Yeah, so that's a big, big, big plus. And it's easier to use. It's very much user-friendly to me, I think, than the Socrative tool. All right, so let's go into another tool. All right, now this tool is called Bubblus. It sounds very funny. I'll say it slowly so you know it's Bubblus. Bubblus. So Bubblus, while you click on this link, I'll explain what it is in the meantime. Now, Bubblus is a software tool, or maybe I can show you one time using these slideshows. Let me just open up my go to slideshow mode and so on. And so you have that visual there. So when we think of Bubblus, Bubblus is a mind map, primarily a mind mapping tool. It allows you to, of course, or you or your students to brainstorm different concerns or phenomena, maybe plan meetings. I find it very useful to create processes and relationships and things that are connected to each other. It's useful to collaborate with other persons. And sometimes people have used it to create graphics. Let's say graphics of processes and signage and that sort of thing. Now, with Bubblus, you can also, it's been upgraded over the past couple of years, where you can now embed, not embed, link it or upload URLs, documents, and that sort of thing in there. All right. So I just showed you, I just shared the link with you. And what we're going to do now is go to Bubblus and explore it. All right. So let's go straight to, you click on that link in the chat that I gave you. And let me open a new account. All right, so I'll come out of this one. And I'll create one with you. Is that okay? So again, we click sign in. All right, we click sign in, and you can insert your email address. I wonder what email address I might probably use for this. All right, let me see. I think I have one with this password already, with this email address already. Let's see. Okay, so let me create a new one. Oh, I click sign in, sorry. So you click register, sorry, not sign in. I keep mistaking that. So you click, remember it's register, you have to see register up here. You give your email address. And a password. And that's it. Now I think I have a password for this email as well, but we'll see. Yes, it is. So let's use another one. All right. So I created mine, and here we have our blank canvas. Is anyone on a page like this?
Yep.
Okay, great, great, nice. So again, you see it's easy to navigate because you already have your accounts. You don't even have to go back to go through this process again. So once you do that, now they have some templates that you can use, whether it's, you know, a life cycle, a grid layout, that kind of thing. You can use some of them, right? Depending on what you're looking for, we can explore that. I tend to go from scratch to create one all on my own. But let's say I wanted to create a circle layout. All right. I click on this, and it already puts the bubbles and the links for me. And it doesn't mean that I can't change it. It's just, it comes out as is already because it's a template. So I don't have to go through the hassle of trying to create this all over, well, from scratch. So let's say I wanted to do the impacts of flooding. Yeah. And I can change this text or font to be bold. I can change the font size. I can change the style and everything. So let's say I want to make it a little bigger. All right. And we have that there, and I can change the alignment in it to, let's say, center. Right. And we have that there. Now to move your concept map around, you have to click and drag. So if I want to make it, move it more to the right, move it more to the left, instead of scrolling, because scrolling will make it bigger or larger. So if I scroll up, it makes it larger. If I scroll back or down, it makes it smaller. But to move and see the whole mind map, you're gonna have to drag, click and drag. All right. So the impacts of flooding. What are some impacts? Let's say loss of life. Right, and I can make that font size bigger. I can make it maybe just a little bigger than the previous thing. And I can make the bubble a little bigger to, right. Loss of life. I can also put damage to property. I can also make that bigger. And the bubble could be bigger. So you could just drag the bubble and it adjusts the suit. Let's say I want to put financial distress. All right. And I'm making it a little bigger. So you see where this is going, right? And I'll put one more here. Let's say outbreak of diseases. All right. Now, if I wanted to connect, let's say, loss of life to if I wanted to say loss of life and there's something coming from that, I could easily just click the plus sign. Sorry, let me just take this out, delete this. I can click this and connect it to something else. Yeah. Now I could click it and connect it. Sorry. Let me click off here. I can click it and connect it to this. I can click it and connect it to that sort of thing. All right. So let's say I want to click connect it to this. Let's say this. Or I can connect it to outbreak of diseases. And then just make sure it doesn't clash with the others. So you see what I'm doing here, right? So look at this. All right. I can also connect it to a child. So let's say loss of life could also be grief or emotional trauma. And you notice because this is a child of a child, you see the difference in the color as well. So impacts of flood is yellow, loss of life is sort of neon yellow, and grief is now green, neon green. I can even say damage to property and connect it to this one. And I could even say damage to property is connected to financial distress. Sorry, let me just try to bring that. No, not that one. Let me move this a little bit so I can see. Right, so we have that there. And I can label each connection. Oh, Petra, how did you get to circle layout? Which layout? Could you use your mic? You could tell me. Are you referring to the arrows? No, even if you have it, if you had it in 2021, that's okay. I had mine in 2014, 16, somewhere there. All right. Well, you want to tell me what you could type it? What do you mean by to get the circle layout? Are you referring to the template? Okay, so when you go to your dashboard, let me just put it up in a new layout. Let me go to, I don't want to lose this one, so let me just. So if I wanted to create.
Yes,
layout,
yeah. I put in a headset.
Oh, okay.
Right.
If I wanted to create, oh, snap, let me just delete this one. Delete.
Oh,
If I want, sorry?
Right, this circle layout below here.
This was from a template. So if I wanted to create from a template,
right.
I just, well, now that my account was created, I could just click mind map from template.
From template, let me see just now. All I am getting when I go to my dashboard, I get yes, okay, that's where it is. And when I click from temp, okay, great.
Yeah,
I was on the, I didn't see that. I was going from the original, from the new mind map. Yes, so it's mind map and then create. Great, thanks.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Okay, so once you do that, and of course it'll come with the bubbles.
Can I butt in? Justin, can I ask a question? I did one. In fact, I used one yesterday in a class with the Masters in Public Health.
Right.
And I was trying to recreate it, looking at the social determinants of health. But I wanted to add some additional green boxes.
Right.
Because I had income, education, food security, equity. I want to put in things like social justice and those kinds of things. But I don't know how to add another one of those green.
Right. No problem at all. So you could do that. You could do that by clicking this plus sign at the bottom here, and you would see a child. So you could, whichever you collect, you connect a child to. So if I connected it here, it would be a child of this. It would be on the same level. So if I wanted to create another green, which is a subsidiary of this, I click on the plus sign at the bottom of this bubble, and a new green one appears. So if
I don't want it like that. I want one of the primary greens.
The primary greens?
Yes. So right now in the template, there are 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 8 of them. And I wanted 10 of them going around that thing in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In a case like that, then you just, well, in my case, it's yellow. So in your case, it might be green, I'm assuming, correct? The center, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So in a case like that, same principle applies. You just click the plus sign at the bottom of the bubble, and it will create another one of the same color of that.
All right, great. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Got it? Did it? Create it.
Could you do that again? Let me see.
Sure, no problem at all. So just so she said that part, I like that. So yeah, so you click on the bubble that you want to create a child of. And let's say in this case, it's a yellow one, but she indicated that she wanted one of the same colors as these. Now, if you notice all these bubbles, these neon light green bubbles are children of this yellow bubble. So she wanted one on this same kind. So to add another bubble like that, you go to the parent bubble, let's call it that for now, and you click add child.
Yeah.
Now that plus sign is that particular one to add a child is usually at the bottom of that bubble or whatever bubble you're trying to create a child of. Like this. So I just created this bubble. That's a child of this. That's the same color as this one, and this one, and this one.
Okay.
Likewise, if I wanted to create a child of this one, I click, which would be the same kind of green. I would click add child, and there you see, sorry, not add child. I have to go to the parent bubble, which is this one, and click add child. So you get green and green. Right?
Yes.
Right, Malika, how to create damage to property to financial distress. No problem at all. So if I wanted, which one was it? Damage to property. Okay, so let me delete this. I'm going to delete it. And what I did, I clicked on this. This is where you get the side, the side plus sign now. This plus sign, which is a sibling. So it's not a child. So it's you get the family tree that's going on here, right? So you want to create a sibling. So you click this plus sign, which is on the side of it. Sorry, not a sibling. I'm so sorry. It's the wrong thing I'm talking about. Sorry. You click on it and you're going to click the arrow, connecting line. All right. You click the connecting line and it will highlight. So what do you want to connect this to? That's what it's asking. All you have to do is click on the connecting or hover over the connecting, the bubble you want to connect it to, and click. And then you hover over the same connecting line and you bend it or adjust it to suit. Now, you can even tweak this if you want to make it a dotted line. You can do that. So you have different, thickness and so on there. If it's a dash, if it's a thick dash, if it's a dotted line. You also have, if you wanted to add a sort of label to it. So if I want to label it as, if I had text, I think you're supposed to be able to put text. Let me just tweak that. I can come out of that. No, I don't want that. I can change the color of it as well, which we know. I want to add some text. Just give me 1 sec. Right, and I just put label. So you just click on the line and you put label. And you may, for whatever reason, you might want to put a label. I don't know what. Let's say damage a property finally. So let's say cost for repairs, etc. Let's call it that for now. And look how it comes up. It appears like this. Yeah. Do you need me to demonstrate it again?
Yes, please. Could you demonstrate again? Sure,
no problem. All right, so to do it like that, you go to, let's say I wanted to show, I'm trying to find one. Let me delete this one, loss of life and outbreak of diseases. So I'm deleting this one. All right, so I want to connect outbreak of diseases to loss of life. Yeah, so what I do is click on this and I click on the arrow, which is here. So I click on the bubble I want to connect it from, right? And I click on this arrow icon and it's highlighted in blue. There's a blue frame around it. Then I go to the bubble I want to connect it to, which is this one, and I click loss of life. In this case, I click on the bubble I want to connect it to. So it's going from outbreak of diseases to loss of life. Right? Now, to make it clear, I don't want this arrow to come straight across and then you miss it. So what I want to do is bend it a little bit or add a little curvature to it, that it makes it easier to see this connecting to this. Right? Now, when you hover over the arrow itself, you'll see this little blue dot that allows you to twist and bend, or even if you see the cursor changes to a hand, you can twist it and bend it to suit. All right? So in this case, I can leave it as is. So you see, it's just to show you how it bends. I can leave it as that. It's not perfectly no, but that's okay. All right. You fix that. Let's leave it as this for now. So you see the extent at which it can bend. And then when you go again, you would see the finger and you can add a label to it. You just click on it. Sorry. I want to make sure I see what I'm typing. You see label and you just insert contaminated water. From contaminated water, etc. And I'll make it larger in just a bit. And I can increase the thickness, sorry, the font size. Let's say I wanted to create the font size a little bigger to 3. All right. And there we go. And let me make it bigger for you so you see what it looks like. All right.
One more question.
Sure.
Justin, oh, sorry, excuse
Oh,
me.
you go ahead, you go ahead.
You can only those link words or those labels to lines you create. You can't add the labels to the master line topic. So the impacts of flooding, you have some main
You're breaking up a
lines
bit.
there. You can't add that.
I can't add what?
Only add labels to the lines you then construct, like what you did there by linking
you mean like
the outbreak to loss of life. That's
so
the only way you can add link words or the label. If you
so
get me, you can't add labels to that line that goes there, right? Directly from the impact of flooding to financial distress.
Okay.
Can you add a label to that? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you should be able to add a label to it. Just go on the line and click on it.
Okay.
Right. So let me show you again. So let's say I'm taking outbreak of diseases and I just click on the line and same thing from what you call it? Food poisoning, from food poisoning, etc. I'm just giving an example. And I could tweak the size of the font to suit. All right. And if I find that this is too jumbled up here, I can always take this one and drag it out. Sorry, drag it out a bit so you see exactly what I'm referring to. Now, because this is a parent to a child, you notice the line is bigger, the labeling is a little bigger, although I tweaked it. But because this is a child to a child, the line is a little smaller and so on. But you could always tweak that to suit. All right. Right. So thanks, Petra. So you could save this. Of course, you can save it as an image. I don't think you should save it as an HTML outline. Definitely an image, such as PNG or JPEG or whatnot. And it's something that you could also embed into your course site, whether it's in My Learning or whatever site you might have. Let's say you're doing a sort of organizational thing for your department. You can use this as well. All right. So you simply click Save As. And there you have it. Save. So you see it as at the bottom of my screen here. Yeah. Now it saves everything automatically. If you want to share it, you can share it. All right. If you want to embed it into your course site or link or website, you can do so. And that sort of thing. Yeah. You can also give a proper name to it. So let's say causes of flooding. Now to do that, you saw where I went for that, right? I'll do it again. Right up here, you just click on this space here, and it will go straight, a new window will appear. Any questions on this? Right, good question, Avril. I think what you can do is save it as an image and post it, copy the image into your PowerPoint, copy and paste the image into your PowerPoint. You wouldn't be able to save, because already PowerPoint, this image is one image. So you'll have to save it like I did, and then paste it into your PowerPoint. So if I were to take this image, I can copy it and paste it into my current PowerPoint, and that would work perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Justin.
No problem at all. Any other questions on this particular tool? We're all comfortable. So there, so we did this activity just now. So And you can always share your, so if I were to go back a bit, let me click share my screen. So you can easily, let's say if you click share, you can easily paste, just click copy link and paste it into the chat. So let's do that. You can copy the link, which I did, and I'm going to paste it into the chat. And you can set it where they can only view this link. They can only view this this image. So your students wouldn't be able to delete it or anything of that sort. All right, so Salim, you did yours. Let me just paste it right here so we see. Excellent. I like that. I like this, Salim. I think you're giving me an idea here. Thank you so much. Oh, Paula, you love it. Nice. All right, good, good, good. I don't know if any more links to Very good there. Nice. Okay, so let's. All right, Gina, you just posted yours. Petra, you are good. Let me just paste this one. Oh, nice. Oh, how not to fall asleep. This is pretty good. I like this. Gina, I hope you're not falling asleep in this session. I just see it. So drink water, pinch your earlobe, stand up and stretch. Nice. Mini facial massage. Very good. And you use the little things as well, external labels and so on. Nice. This is excellent. Excellent, Gina. I didn't mention, sorry, everyone, how to add media and so on to it. So if you wanted to add some sort of media, you could simply click insert. And I can add an image. I can add a file. I can add an emoji. I can add, you know, any sort of comment even. So if I were to look up, let's say, a video on flooding. Yeah. Just waiting for it to open up. Let's say flooding. All right. And I can simply copy this link and bring it back into my bubblers. So I have this link here. I click on it, paste the link, and then insert. Oops, I think I pasted it into the middle of the thing. So let me just tweak this and bring this. Just tweak that a little bit. All right. And there we have it. If I wanted to paste an image, then I can simply click on an image and connect it to that particular bubble. I know this one isn't relevant to it, but just so you see what it looks like. So if I open up this bubble a little more, you see the image that is associated with it. All right. That's okay, Petra, that's okay. All right. Yes, you can also paste it in a child sibling, but I'm just saying if you want to attach it to that same bubble, that's perfectly fine. All right. So yeah, any more questions on bubblers? Okay, great. So I'm just watching the time. Please allow just you know, if it's okay with you, probably just about 5 to, let's say, 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes longer, just for us to cover this next tool, and that should be it. All right, is that okay with you? Yes, Andre, it definitely is. I think it helps with process thinking and which is good for sciences and so on, especially. It's good for creating any sort of graphic that is process oriented or even brainstorming, because that's what it was originally designed to do. So even if there's a project timeline or process that you want to outline, by all means, you can do it like this. Even if you want to use it as a quick lesson planning tool, you can do that as well. I would assume in the medical sciences, it's very good in terms of protocols and that sort of thing, procedures and so on. So that is also a good way to use it. All right, thank you so much, Gina. All right, so let's go straight into, well, we already passed this question. So I'm very excited about this one, Heyzine. Well, of course, it's a pun or blend of two words. Of course, magazine is somewhere inside there. So anyway, so this one, I think you'd like this as well. What is it? It's a web-based software that allows you to generate not just flipbooks, but also magazines and ebooks and so on. Now, you could share the link, you can embed it into your website or course site, such as My Learning. Many of you may have seen me demonstrate Flipsnack. This is a more modified version of Flipsnack. So with Heyzine, you can do a little more than just what we did with Flipsnack. So you can create flipbooks and magazines and presentations and so on. But you can also secure it even more by putting a password to protect your presentation if you need to. You can customize the look and feel of it. So it's a lot more you can do with it. All right. Of course, it's a good tool for teaching because it's a multimodal approach. So you have those who like to see things and touch things. And so you can have your students create presentations in this, and you can create your presentations and share it with them without them having to download your content, if that's something that is worrying to you. All right. Of course, it facilitates self-paced or independent learning. So students can also use it as a means of, let's say, after they've come to your class and they want to review the salient points of it, they can do that using this platform too. So let's get straight into it. All right. So the first thing you want to do is go to, now you don't have to create a PowerPoint for the sake of time. Thank you, Prima. No problem at all, Yvonne. Yes, Yvonne, definitely. All right. So, but we're finishing in about 8 minutes. So you don't have to create a PowerPoint now. What I'd like you to do is get a PDF file. All right. Now this graphic here that I inserted is just to show you how to save a PowerPoint to a PDF. Once you've created a PowerPoint, it's very easy to save it as a PDF or convert it to a PDF, as you see here. All right. So let me see the chat. This is too, I really appreciate that, Yvonne. Thank you so much for that. All right. So I'm doing it quickly. So once you have a PDF, so you could source a PDF on your device right now. All right. So we'll use any PDF that you have. And you're going to go to heyzine.com. I'll ask Mr. Garcia to just type in heyzine.com in the chat. So at least you can just click it there. www.heyzine.com. And from there, you're going to click sign up as we see in the graphic. Now, yes, you could upload and so on one time, but I like to get the administrative account stuff out of the way. So when you're using it, you don't have to go back and then you lose your presentation or whatnot if you're fearful of that. So once it's there, is it there? I'm not seeing it in the chat. No? Yeah. Oh, okay, it's there. Good, so you click on it and it will take you to a page that looks something like this. So let me know when you get to Heyzine. All right. And like I said, it's just a play on, you know, magazine, Heyzine, that kind of thing. So once you've gotten to a page, like what you see in the graphic there, you simply create your account. All right, I see we have some messages there. Oh, you were there in terms of what, Petra? You would, I'm not sure, and it took me to a different page.
Oh no, I just created my account and
Oh.
it just told me right away I had no flipbook. It just got me in there.
Yes, no problem at all. So let me share my screen just so you see exactly what you're looking for. Or before I do that, so once you've done that, so you're on a page like this, everyone, and you create your account. All right. You insert the information, your email address, your password, verify your password, and then accept the terms of use, and then click register. Right? You may or may not get a link to in your email account to verify your Heyzine account. All right. I don't think you would necessarily get it, but sometimes you do. All right. Sorry. So once let me go to you create that, and that should take you to Heyzine.com. So this is what my interface looks like in terms of my dashboard. It looks very simple, but trust and believe the flipbooks are very far from. So let me just show you what an example looks like. So if I were to open this, this is what one looks like. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yes, you should be able to see it. So you might probably hear the sound effects and everything. And it's loading there because it's a large PDF. All right. And the links and everything are active on it. This is also a plus from Flipsnack, because with Flipsnack, you had to find a different way to put in hyperlinks, live hyperlinks. All right, so let's show you how to create it. I think someone created one already. It's very simple. All you have to do, you go to your dashboard, or you could simply drag and drop a PDF from here. All right. So if I were to use here while I'm here one time, because I think someone created. Yes, the links are active. Yes. So that's why I say it's an upgrade from Flipsnack. All right. So if I wanted to create a new Flipsnack, flipbook, I could do it from the home screen, or I can do it from my dashboard by clicking New Flipbook. And it would instruct you to either drag and drop a file or browse for a file. Now, I like to drag and drop, so I just open the folder where I have another document, the PDF. All right. And what I'm going to do is drop this here. So you see it's processing. And there you have it. So you have this now. It's an article here. And then I can easily give it a title. I could give it page effects. So let's say if I think it's saved settings from my previous post. If I want page edges, now page edges is just like what you see at the bottom of this page. So it makes a sound effect if I hover over it. All right. And you see this article is about 20 something or 30 something pages. If I want the background to be changed, I can do that. So I click on the background on the left, using the menu on the left, of course. I can change it to something plain yellow. I can change it to a sort of gradient. I can change it. Oh, this gradient actually matches what's here. I can change it to something very bright or festive. But you really don't want to make something too distracting, right? Because remember, it's multimedia we're looking at here. So nothing too, if you know your PDF has a lot of graphics and whatnot, you definitely want to make sure it's something that is clean, yeah? So you have that, you can change your color, you can change your style. Now you can also upload your own image. So you see up here, this little cloud and an arrow in it. You click on that and it would prompt you to find an image that you can use. Yeah. And you just drag and drop it. Same thing as you did with the file itself. So let's say I want to change the background to one of their templates, which is something like, let's say something like this for now. I apply that. If I wanted any kind of background audio, I can do that. I don't think I want that because it could be distracting to have all in one presentation. And we looked at Mr. Javid Mohammed did a workshop a couple of weeks ago. So remember, we don't want to have too many things.
Distractions.
Yeah, distractions. All right. So we definitely have that. Look at the settings here. We have password protected. So if you wanted to make it, you're worried about it being there and people accessing it. First of all, persons wouldn't be able to download this just like that. But if you are worried about access, nevertheless, you can enable a password. All right. One password for everyone, and you could put your password there. All right. Okay. All right. So once you have that, I don't think you really need to look at to cover many aspects of it. If you wanted to insert a link, an image, a video or audio file, if you wanted to talk it through, you can do that. All right. If you have your audio file prepared. But for now, we don't need that. Once we scroll all the way up and we click save. All right. And that's it. So let's see what it looks like. Yeah. So once you've done that, let me just shift this around.
Sorry, Justin, just one question.
Sure.
When you said that I can insert the background audio, for example, if that is, as you said, me walking through the presentation, does it mean that as soon as the person turns the page, starts playing the audio, or they have the option of clicking on something to listen to hear the audio?
No, you could do it a couple different ways. Now, if it is something that you want the pages to be turned automatically, I think there's a feature for that. But usually I let the pages, I allow the user to turn the pages. So if they need the audio to replay, they can do that. And usually I think there's a button, to click for the audio as well. All right, so just let me wrap up very quickly. So just to show you what this looks like, let me go into the big screen, the full screen. Okay, I hope my machine isn't sticking. All right. And if I go to my dashboard, let me just go to my dashboard so you see it there. There it is. And I can preview. Oh, I did set a password. So you see the password. I didn't realize I set a password for it. So let me go back and change that. So I'm going to edit it.
If you remember the password.
Yeah, I did. I didn't realize I did change a password. Let me just disable. I really didn't want to put a password, but let's say 1, 2, 3 for now. Who's 3 numbers? All right. So let's say if I go back to my dashboard. I should be able to get that there. What I would also do, you'd see share the top left side right there. You can also click on share and you would see you can share the link. You can share the embed code, which will allow you to download it to embed it into your course site or website. You can allow whether you want it to be downloaded or not via a source code or whatnot, and you can even use a QR code. All right. So if I were to put this link in the chat, you should be able to get the flipbook using the password 123. All right. So if I go to my dashboard and I click on it, so there's 3 numbers you would see there, 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. And let me just open it up in full screen so you see what it's like. All right. Thanks, Mark. /Jarvin. All right. And yeah, and that's basically how we use Heyzine for flipbooks and magazines. Now you can even create, like I said, ebooks and so on. You love it. Yes. Thanks so much for that, Paula. And so yeah, you could easily use it for review of information. So let's say if you use Poll Everywhere, and I do have a slide in terms of how we can incorporate some of these tools along the way. But you know, I'll just give some example. I'll talk it out for you. You may use Poll Everywhere to do a sort of diagnostic test or diagnostic a pre-lesson survey or set induction or pre-assessment. And you get an idea of what students know and what they don't know, and you know, that sort of thing. So you could tailor your lesson accordingly. Then you may use Bubblers as part of the lesson itself, or get them to create a Bubblers image or graphic highlighting certain points or topics from your lesson. If it's a process you use or some sort of whatever teaching points you may have had in your lesson, that may be one. And then you may use the flipbook activity. Heyzine, they could create a flipbook or use a Bubblers to explain what they know, or you could use the Heyzine flipbook or magazine to elaborate or to provide them with lecture notes, because you know they always like to ask for lecture notes, right? So this is a good and secure way that you can give them the lecture notes without your lecture notes or presentations being used without permission. Yeah, or shared without permission. So I'm gonna hand over to right. We do have just a quick recap of the tools for cool tools in education. So we looked at cool tools. Remember, they must be fresh, they must be easy to use, and they must enhance the teaching and learning process. We looked at some tools, Poll Everywhere, Heyzine, and Bubblers, and we looked at the most appropriate technology tools for course delivery. Now, we hope that you enjoyed this session and you really found a way to use it. Yeah. Any feedback? Any comments as we come to a close?
Unmute. We're not hearing you.
Sorry, was just giving some instructions. All right. Of course, Mr. Garcia and Mr. Duku are here with me. So these are the tools that we looked at today, as we see here. Sorry, here. Poll Everywhere. We looked at Poll Everywhere and how it can be used to engage students, get real-time feedback, get analytics even in what they know, what they don't know, what they need to know, which is important. All right, because it allows you that, it provides you with that insight so you can tailor your lesson directly to meet their learning needs. Then we looked at Bubbleless. Bubbleless can be used for mind mapping, sorry. It can be used for process thinking, to facilitate process thinking. It can be used to create some small graphics and flowcharts. All right, and now remember, you could even use this, let's say, outside of teaching and learning. So let's say if you have a particular report that you want to use, you have to create, you may have to report on a particular process, or even if you're doing research, you might have to report on a particular research protocol or the methodology and that sort of thing. You may want to use that graphic or fold it inside there. All right, and of course we use Heyzine as an article, as a flipbook generator or magazine generator that can be shared. All of these tools and artifacts that you will create can be shared online, whether it's in My Learning, whether it's in your departmental site, or even in an article or some sort of graphic or publication that you might be using. All right. Any questions? Any? I see we have, as we wrap up. Very informative. Thank you so much for that, Prima. Andre, although I was working and listening at the same. Yeah, that's what you're multitasking. And Andre, I just want to commend you on that, because you know, I was told that men can't multitask. I don't know how true it is. You know, so let me not start anything right now. But so yeah, so we have those things. Any questions on any of the tools that we covered? All right.
My only question, Justin.
Sure.
Sorry about it. I'm so sorry. I joined this session late. But it was very good. What I've discovered so far, what I've viewed so far was very good. So I have a concern, right? Because
Sure.
they're free tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we upload stuff to these tools, who owns the copyright?
Right. So it will be your material nonetheless, even though you upload it to a platform. The thing is that you and I know we have Petra here, she's a librarian at heart, so she will know all the intricacies. But with many of these platforms, it's not that the content is not yours anymore. It's not that, it doesn't work that way, right? It's just your use of the platform for that content. Maybe it's a sort of collaborative approach. All right, so it's not that they will take your content or share it with any and everybody, and then you have no control over it. I also suggest that you put maybe your name on it, or a sort of some part of the graphic. So let's say if you use Heyzine, you might want to put your name just at the bottom of it, just to make sure, you know, no one really uses it externally, or, you know, or you have it password protected, so that shouldn't be a problem. But just as an additional something that you might want to consider. But yeah, so many of these tools, it's really just the use of the platform that you agree. That's why it's like the terms of use. Terms of use meaning that it's not that you lose all rights to your content. Your content is yours, but the platform that you're using to deliver the content is different. All right, does that answer your question? I don't know, Petra?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, great. And because it's tied to your account, it's also secure. So you don't really have hacking and so on these platforms, because they're not necessarily like social media accounts where persons could slip in and infiltrate and take your content and you find it somewhere that, you know, you're not going to see stuff like that happening there without your knowledge. Because remember, it's tied to your email account. So that's another thing. So yeah. Petra. Yes, it cannot be downloaded. Yeah. So, and it cannot be shared without your permission, even if you put a password and whatnot. So you have different levels of security throughout. We do have a workshop evaluation. I think Mr. Garcia inserted the link in the chat earlier. I don't know if you may have seen it. You can let us know and we will post it again. Oh, it's there again. So good. So you'd see that link there. So you can, and you'll also get a copy of that link in your email, yeah? So you can complete it now while it's fresh on your radar. And that would give us some good feedback in how we can improve this session. Remember, this is the first time we have done this session like this in terms of using this sort of presenter, this type of presentation. So normally you wouldn't see me, but you're seeing me now, right? And we have the whole setup of a green screen. And for those of you who did that workshop over the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks with Mr. Mohammed, so we're folding that in to show you how it can be used, glitches and all, yeah? And because, you know, it helps that you're able to identify with what we do and we could be of greater assistance to you, all right? If you need any help or support, you can definitely contact me, justin.zephyrine@sta.uri.edu. You should see my name there, so just a dot between the two names and the normal UV handle. And yeah, if you have any questions, and you can also contact, I think, Mr. Mohammed, all right, Javed Mohammed at sta.uri.edu, or you can contact Mr. Garcia, Mark Garcia, at sta.gwi.edu, or even Mr. Duku, and any of them will be able to refer you to us or me if you need any assistance as it pertains to teaching and learning in that regard. All right. Definitely remember to keep your, even as you do it, you use these cool tools. Make sure it's practical, make sure it's collaborative. I think it was Tracy I was talking about adding some collaboration. So let them create a bubble-us, let them create a Heyzine, because these are things that would engage them, that would pique their interest, and they can take this and even use it as a demonstration or evidence when they go into the world of work. All right. So thank you so much for your attention and for your participation in this session. Do have a great evening. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know and we'll be happy to assist. All right. Yes, Petra, the studio session. We will definitely let you know. In fact, you could probably, once that's set up, you could just, we'll create a sort of form or some sort of protocol where you can make an appointment and we can assist in the recording of your session. In the meantime, you could probably start preparing your content. All right, that would definitely help. And then you just come to record and it's a smooth sailing. Yeah. And you can even use some of these tools that we looked at, such as bubble-us and Heyzine, for those presentations as well. So it's something to consider. All right. All right, have a great one, Michelle. Thanks so much, Kristen, sorry. No problem, Petra. All right. See, Karen is still here, Juliet is still here. All right. I'm just looking to make sure we have some comments in the chat. Okay, goodbye. Okay, have a great one. Have a great one, everyone. I think we could probably end the session, yeah? All right. Feel free to reach out to us by email. I see we have one comment here. Just one sec, Mark. Thank you. I was working and heard my name, Karen. Yes, I saw your name here, so I just called you out, Karen. Thank you, Dr. Jones, as well, for being with us.